Hey everyone, it's Ride1940 here. Today we're taking a look at sea power, naval combat in the Missile Age, and this is not a Missile Age sort of scenario. In fact, we're doing the Cod Continuation War by Banzinou. It's available on the workshop. I'll link it. It's caught my eye because it's more of a low-intensity sort of conflict, and I had no idea what the Continuation War was, or Cod War was, and let's get this started here. Basically, my understanding of a quick read through it was that Iceland didn't really have an economic exclusion zone for a long time, so other countries were fishing really close up to its international limit of 12 nautical miles, which was the recognized limit. Obviously, Iceland didn't like that, having vessels from Britain come over and fish around and stuff, and so they would send their Coast Guard out to harass these boats. And so the Royal Navy had to come out and help protect the British fishing boats that were in the area doing all the fishing. Well, eventually it came to a point where I think Iceland got to hinting that they would potentially leave NATO over this if their rights weren't respected. And I think NATO kind of helped intervene a little bit and get them an economic exclusion zone that protected up to like 200 nautical miles around their waters. And in response to that, the British did the same, established their own economic exclusion zone for fishing, and that was that. So this is pretty interesting. I never knew anything about that sort of conflict, and it apparently had gone on for, decades? So this is really cool. We are tasked with taking this Fishery Protection Squadron up on a patrol route through the fishing areas, and there's going to be fishing boats that will come across that are ours. And then HMS Russell is escorting these trawlers up here, and then they've got a route that they're going to go down. So Russell will stay with them while they transit, and then these guys will just search out for Icelandic Coast Guard vessels. So let's get this started. I've actually played this a few times trying to film it, and if we filmed it the way I would like, just kind of like non-stop, it would go well past an hour and a half. It's a low-intensity mission, but it can play out really long, especially because I like to jabberjaw, tell stories and stuff, and so I'm going to try and minimize that as much as possible, maybe even fast forward through things, so we can keep it at least, I don't know, around an hour I think is the sweet spot. I don't like making videos that go beyond that too far, and the last time I filmed this to record it was like an hour and like 40 minutes. I was like, this is too much for such a really, I don't want to say it's a basic mission, but the concept of it is a simple sort of action. But it is really neat. I'm a fan of, I like seeing missions like this where they're not the normal SAG versus SAG or carrier battle group versus carrier battle group, that kind of thing. I like being exposed to conflicts I didn't know existed, and also low intensity stuff about, like, patrol boats versus patrol boats, that kind of thing. So this will be really cool. I'm hoping, because it seems like we've got to keep some Icelandic Coast Guard boats away, we can do some techniques that you might see in the real world with kind of shouldering and button in front of the vessel and kind of getting them to go away, that kind of thing. And sea power is pretty good because the AI does have it does avoid collisions, so you can kind of get close to and force their hand. It's like a game of chicken, though. You don't want to get too aggressive. So while we get started here, we've got to turn our radars on. We are not afraid of any sort of massive missile barrage from the Icelandic armed forces. They're just messing with us with their trawlers. In fact, there's one over here. What I'm going to do is change this theme to dark, which is nice. Keep this dark. This is a Icelandic flagged vessel. We're not going to mess with them. We'll just kind of watch them. We'll see how the Russell's doing. I'll keep this guy's radar going as well. And it looks like we've got a radar contact out there. Well, I see a boat off the bow, but we've got a radar contact off the port side here, so we've got, there it is. Oh, an Icelandic Coast Guard plane and ship are coming to visit us. Let's ignore them. So we've got a boat out there. Let's check the other guys. I don't see any planes. We don't have an air search radar, so we're kind of left to just visually acquire a plane. Oh, here's a plane right there. Oh, that's really cool. Oh wow, look at that. Wow. That's neat. There he goes. Okay, so that must be the Coast Guard vessel, and that must be the Coast Guard plane. So we'll ignore them like they said and continue our patrol. More worried about the group up here to identify what's coming at us. So the cool thing about the ships and stuff and sea power with their nav lighting, it's pretty accurate. So I think the models all display light correctly. Like, if you look here, if you don't know, if you guys know about ships, you'll probably know this, but these lights aren't supposed to be viewed from the stern, the port starboard light, or starboard port light. So the green and the red light, you shouldn't be able to look from behind the ship and see it. And the reason for that is the way the lighting system works for the nav lights. So you might have a masthead light that's white light, and then you might have the green and the red starboard and port lights, and then you also have a stern light. So depending on what you see, so if I saw 2 white lights and I didn't see anything else, then it's safe for me to assume that I'm looking at the stern of a vessel. If it was completely dark and I saw a green and red light and 1 white light, then I could assume that I'm looking directly at the bow of the vessel coming towards me. So this way you can kind of determine the geometries of the vessel that you're looking at. Alright, so that said, I want to look at the vessel over there. Take a look. So we can see he's got the green and red light and then the 2 masthead lights. So he's coming towards us. We can kind of see he's got this angle coming this way here. And then the other one I wanted to see was off the bow. There we go, we got the lights. So this is exactly what I was talking about, where we can see the green and red light straight on, and then we see the white light. So that is, this guy is heading directly towards us. And it looks like off in the distance there's really faint, there's a few more vessels here, but I don't know what they are. There are other trawlers in this scenario, so it's not all just other British trawling vessels around that we're not directly escorting, but they're just kind of in the area. Yeah, I don't want to go too fast because I don't know that these guys can. Yeah, these guys are going pretty slow. So we're going to ask them to identify themselves. See what they refuse to comply. Of course. Let's try somebody else doing it. Alright, so let's speed this up. So I don't want this video to go forever, I'm sorry. And we'll just see what happens. Okay, this is Russell. We are under attack by 2 Icelandic Coast Guard vessels. They are attempting to ram us. Request instructions. Russell, permission to fire warning shots at hostile vessels. Do not sink the ships. Okay, this is an improvement I wish that Sea Power could make. And I think it's a simple one. In most RTS games, you can click on a weapon system, and then you can do something like shift click or control click or alt click, and you can do a point fire. So your weapon system that you've selected would fire at that map point. So if we could do that, then we can do a simulation of warning shots. So that'd be really cool for a scenario like this. But in Sea Power, we're not able to do that. You actually have to have a track that you're saying that you're going to shoot at. So we actually have to hit the guy. I think what the message pop-up was saying was don't sink it, kind of alluding to that we would actually have to fire weapons directly at the thing. In real life, a warning shot is just not even hitting the guy. It's kind of going in his general area across his bow, so he knows that you don't like what he's doing at the moment and he needs to stop. Okay, so we're gonna wait till we get some hits and then we'll stop and see what happens. Okay, so I'm gonna hit X, cease fire. Okay, Okay, and then we've got the other boat out here. So this guy is, I guess, hostile. So my plan is going to be, our escorts are behind us, the ships that we need to escort. And I want to come up this way, swing over to the port side, and then kind of unveil our guns and fire at them. And so we'll also be on the track to head back towards our boats that we need to escort. Oh, this guy is considered a neutral vessel, apparently. I got some right in the cargo hold, not going to hurt anybody. Okay, so let's go ahead and come hard to port. We'll go ahead and get this ready. We'll get a good lead on this guy's course going this way. Alright, he's about in range now, so we can go ahead and open fire. Okay. Alright. So we'll, I think what we'll do is, we're kind of interested in disabling their movements, so we'll probably shoot at them until they slow down, but we won't sink them. So this guy's still going 7 knots towards us, so we'll keep firing until they get the hint. Okay, I think that's enough. Usually when they're on fire, they kind of slow down dramatically, so let's take a look at what he's doing now. Still going 7 knots though, my goodness. Yeah, he's not slowing down. He's not slowing down at all. So. Okay. Let's see, I think he's slowing down now, so. Okay, we'll come hard to port and we'll engage this guy over here. Oh boy, that's a lot of 40 mil. Alright, he's going 5 knots. This guy's also going 5 knots. Gonna want to see him slow down some more though. But I don't want to sink them. That's the danger. Oh, this is pretty cool though. Pretty cool. Okay, we'll ceasefire. It's flaming up pretty good now. Alright. He's actually increasing speed. Wow. Both of them. Okay. Well, let's speed this up a little bit, see what happens. Okay, he's dead in the water. He's going 7 knots. He's still trying to close us, so we'll gauge him. Probably wait till we see a good fire, and then we'll stop and reassess. It would be kind of cool if, you know how we've got the command where we can say, like, identify yourself? It'd be cool if the game expanded on that a little bit, and you can, you know, request that they come all stop or something, and then, yeah, that kind of stuff. You tell them to halt or something so that they get away from your vessels. I think just kind of tiny things like that would help mission creators get more creative on more low intensity things that would I think be pretty fun, and more can show you other parts of like life at sea and what kind of goes on, because there, you know, even in the Cold War there was you know, vessels did get really close with each other, and they swapped paint a lot. There's videos out there you can see on YouTube of like U.S. and Soviet ships kind of swapping hull paint with each other, and doing things that we probably wouldn't do today. It's too much danger bumping into ships. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool to be able to get them to halt and stuff like that, and actually do enforcement, sort of hover around, tell them to halt, and some time goes by and then you kind of simulate that you've inspected their vessel. Pan, all stations, this is a UK trawler 37 miles west of the coast. I'm not going to pronounce that, no way. They need assistance, they're being harassed by an Icelandic Coast Guard vessel. Okay. So don't divert the Russell, which is this guy here, from its escort mission. Use the protection squadron. This guy is still going 7 knots though, so I want to fire some more at him. And then while we do that, let's go and figure out where this other dude is at. So coast here, say 37 miles, was it? Something like that. Good enough for government work. There we go. And then we will take these guys, have them just race to this spot. Go full speed ahead. Go to flank. There we go. Okay, let's cease fire here. Just stay down, please. Stop heading towards us. I don't want to sink you. Okay, I'm hoping that doesn't sink. They're still persisting. He's going like 5 knots, dude. Come on, get out of here. Who are you fooling? Getting real close and blast them. You're still going 7 knots. You're going a little slower. Point blank. Okay. Probably shouldn't do that full compression because it's gonna send a lot of rounds and I won't be able to stop myself before the ship's sunk. Dang. Alright. Okay, that's enough. Another cool thing I think would be really neat for just immersion's sake is if we were to have like a key that we can click and it fires off the ship's whistle, because a lot of times if you ever watch conflicts like this where there's Coast Guard vessels or Navy vessels going against you know, fishing boats or trawlers that shouldn't be there, a lot of times they're zooming at each other and kind of shouldering them to kind of push them out the way, and everybody's blasting their whistle, because five blasts, short blasts of the whistles means I don't know what you're doing, stop what the heck you're doing. Your intentions are unclear. And so it'd be kind of cool to be able to just simulate that. I would get a kick out of that. In fact, I might, if you see that, if you hear that in the video, I should say, then you'll know I've edited it in post just to kind of show what that probably would look like. That's only if I could find a good clip of a good sound clip of it. The generic ones don't sound right. I got to pull it from a real video. All right, this guy is like dead in the water. Yeah, that's good. Alright, and the other guy's kind of cruising along at 2.8 knots. Sweet. Now this is awesome. Alright. Okay, hopefully he stays like that and these guys can kind of clear through smoothly. Let's see what happens here. If this guy stays at 2 knots, I think it's okay. I don't know that he can... he's almost up to 3. I don't know if he can intercept him. He might. We'll give him a quick blast again, I guess. Those are some good hits. I just love that this shows where all the hits are. It's so cool. Okay, I can hear his engine throttling down. 2.8 knots still though, however. He's still going at a brisk walking pace of 2.8 knots. Okay, there he goes. He's starting to slow down quite a bit. Let's cease fire. Don't want to sink them. Like they said, don't sink these boats. Just disable them. Is he getting underway again? No, he's not. He's trying to. See him rooster tailing for no reason. Oh yeah, boarding operations in this game and a little bit more interaction between vessels would be neat. To tell them to request that they take a course change or make a course change to certain port starboard or something, or just tell them to request that they come to a halt. Because in real life, there are things that boats can do that it will allow basically any nation to go and board that, investigate that vessel. The big one is if a vessel's flying unflagged, that's not allowed. And so any Navy vessel coming across that from whatever country can be like, I want to go check that boat out, and then they're allowed to do so. So it'd be kind of cool to be able to have a vessel come to a all stop, and if they don't comply, maybe instead of having to shoot at the thing directly, we can do a warning shot. Like I could shift click in front of it and then ask them to stop again, and maybe they'll listen. That'd be pretty neat. But yeah, I can see this is a missile combat game, but there's a lot of small stuff that would make the game, I think, extra great and special, with long legs for really unique mission sets. I mean, especially in a linear campaign where stuff kind of can build to some gigantic mission, but maybe it starts off in smaller missions where you're doing things like patrolling around and interacting with fishermen and stuff like that. Okay, so there we go. These guys are both dead in the water. That's good. We'll circle around. Oh, he's getting underway. He's getting underway too. Okay. Oh man, what are you doing? Just stay down, buddy. It's crazy. They just keep going. They won't stop. They're like rabid dogs, but in trawlers, and not going very quick. All right, let's see how. Are you slowing down? No, you are not. Man, this if this was real 40 mil hitting the same spot, it would just start bleeding through, and this stuff's not that hardcore. Okay, I think I should ceasefire again. Stay put, please. No, don't go 4 knots. And he's going to be right in the middle of these boats. Have you stopped yet? Okay, what are my guys doing? They're going 7 knots. This guy's going 2.8. This guy's going like 0 now. Okay. It's kind of like right in the middle of the formation that they're going to be driving. You know what I'll do is oh yeah, we'll have this guy leave his formation, and so that'll allow these guys to do their thing. Yeah, so this way I can drive the ship around, and the AI will just drive the route that they're meant to route. I don't want them chasing after me. Oh boy. That was crazy. Oh no, I don't want to direct control this one. Return to formation. Go back to your course. Return to course. Okay. Nope, nope, nope. Stay away. Stay away, pal. Alright, we'll try to do some shouldering here. Okay. So we can get real close. Cut over. And sea power, the boats generally want to avoid collisions, so they'll should be able to kind of gently coax them to go away from you. Sometimes they won't do it though, and it's like a game of chicken. It's kind of funny because it's almost like in real life where obviously nobody really wants to collide with each other because you can risk damaging your vessel, and then you damage it bad enough at the middle of the open ocean, like that's not great. You don't want to go swimming in that water. So both parties generally don't want to damage each other too badly, but you might miscalculate and swap paint and stuff like that. But yeah, you can see here he's kind of being coaxed to go to the port side a little bit. So we can block these guys while these boats make their escape, hopefully. I don't know why he's backing up. Maybe he needs to go full flank speed. Get out of there. Okay. Yeah, he's finally going on the course that he needs to be on. Alright. These guys should not be able to keep up anymore. Cool. We can get out of there. Alright. How fast can these guys go? 6 knots? Is that your flank speed? Yeah, I guess so. Wow. Yeah, so I've never had to I've never been in a scenario where the boat I was on was like ramming other boats or getting close to that and swapping paint and that kind of stuff, but I have seen, I remember one time in Bahrain, I really remembered it, was when we would pull in and out of Bahrain, it was insane. There was a bunch of speedboats, like super expensive looking speedboats, and the people driving them, and I don't know if it was to like show off or was kind of to taunt us, they would go super fast and get as close as possible to us. And when you're a Navy ship in a lot of countries, if you come in and out of like a naval base, you sometimes have your own like security boat escorts or whatever, and that's because the ship in restricted waters is going to have a hard time maneuvering against like fast boats or whatever. And anyways, in Bahrain, these speedboats would just come at you, and then we would have security boats out there, and they would push up against them and stuff like that and chase after them. And it was almost like a game. And I remember this one incident where I can't remember if we were pulling in or leaving, and this boat was coming right at us, and the security boat had to kind of ram them off course, and then basically went bow to bow with the guy. And on the security boat, there's like a 240 gunner on the front, and he was just basically pointing his 240 at the occupants of this speedboat, like shouting at them to like stop. And I don't think those people understood how dangerous that was. Like, I remember telling my buddy, like, it's just a matter of time before there's like an incident here where people get shot, because they don't seem to understand like the Navy's not cool with you coming at them like going 50 knots like that. And it seemed like it was a game for them to see how close they can get before the police would push them off, because it was obvious the police boats didn't want them doing that kind of stuff. And so it looks like, what did we have happen there? I wasn't paying attention, sorry. Oh well. We'll find out. Maybe it said those boats were leaving. Well, they're chasing us, but they're not going to keep up with us, that's for sure. Yeah, and then anyway, so years later, there was an incident in Bahrain, I think, where it was like a small boat, and I don't think they just understood the security protocols and stuff, and they got too close to something, and they just got shot up, and a few people died, I think. It's unfortunate. Terrible, terrible, terrible stuff. So, moral of the story is, like, don't drive your fast boats at Navy boats. They don't like that generally. Okay, so we're cruising along with these guys again. Oh, we got some small radar contacts. What are you? Trawler. A British trawler, alright. These guys are still going over to that Mayday call. Yeah, this is pretty cool. It's not your normal sort of mission set, which I like. Mixes it up a little bit. I like the weather. It's nice and gray, as you would expect. It's raining, as you would expect. And the sea state's not nice and clean. It's kind of choppy. Yeah, I haven't sailed up in this area, but I've been up in where was that? Somewhere up around here, and there was the biggest waves I've ever been in. It was probably like 25, 30 feet, and the storm went to like gale force wind, so it was like 70 knots, and it was just incredible how quickly the weather could turn, because it was kind of like this at like 11 o'clock, and I remember it was right before I went to lunch. I went out back aft, take a look at the weather, and then went in for lunch. By the time I was done eating with my buddy and came back outside, actually we couldn't come outside because the sea state was too high, and we went to the pilot house, and it was insane. Like, the waves had gone up to like 10 to 15 feet, and the wind speed was still increasing. And ultimately, within like an hour or two, it'd go up to 70 miles per hour, which I think is like the lowest grade hurricane, I think. We're really close to it. It was pretty wild. The day before that, I think we had like one engine too, so I was kind of like, please don't let that one messed up engine have some trouble today. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, that's this guy is the patrol boat that's harassing the vessel here. This is our guy, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So we'll take control of this. I'm going to tell the other guy to just kind of fall into formation. Join the formation.
Turn to course.
Oh, no, don't turn to course. Return to formation. Edit the formation. Let's take a look at what we got. Relative positions. We want trawler to be there, and then we want the Blackwood to kind of be up forward a little bit, but not too much. If they stick close together, it's easy to manage if there's vessels coming over to try and ram them. It's not like if you're thinking about missile defenses with your formation, kind of spreading people out. This we want to keep things close, because the way that we're engaging these boats is really up close and personal. So if I can keep these trawlers together, I can detach and come back as I see fit. Or if I'm kind of just really relatively close to them, if something pops up, I'm still nearby for an immediate reaction. But yeah, I want to go ahead and can't sink this boat, but I think maybe that was a pop-up message to go ahead and engage this dude. So we'll fire some warning shots at him.
7-0-1-0. Salvo fire. Hit track 7-0.
Shouldn't take much for a small patrol boat like that to come to a stop. Okay, I think that's enough. There's a small boat, and that fire is looking pretty bad. I don't want to sink this dude. Give him a good warning. Stay away from that trawler there, buddy. Yeah, it's. I wish we could do warning shots in this game. It would be really neat. You know, in real life, because I was on scat team, we got trained to do warning shots, and it's pretty funny because if you're on a 50 cal, they just have iron sights back then. I don't know if they've got anything fancy now for them, but it's hard to aim a 50 cal at sea because you don't know where the rounds are going initially. So what you're doing is you squeeze the trigger, and I can't remember if it was a trigger or if it was a button. Anyways, you fire the weapon and you wait to see the first splashes, and then you kind of react and move the gun up or down or whatever. And you're kind of, if you were to hit a target, you're trying to stitch through the target, so you walk your rounds through the target. If you're trying to do a warning shot, like you're having to judge where those rounds should be going, and hopefully you're getting them further up in front of the guy, so it's not going to hit him, but kind of still close enough so that he knows that you're warning him. Right, but we can't do that in this game. We have to actually just shoot at these dudes. Okay, that's good enough. Do some more damage to them. Oh, that's so cool. See us come careening on like that. He's still going. Alright, let's stop. Let's see if we can kind of coax them away. Oh boy. Oh man. Yeah, he's going away. Well, let's see what he does. Is he going to come back around, or? Yeah, it looks like he's turning him back in. Okay. This is kind of like a one circle fight and dog fighting. You know, I noticed that these ships are a little weird the way that their rudder is designed. They've got two rudders and they're not directly behind the prop, so it's an interesting design. So if you can get it directly behind the prop, you can obviously, as you throttle up and stuff, you can get a lot of controllability. Ooh, man, if they collide, that'd be nuts. Right, let's see how this goes. I'm going to dive right in here. Okay, let's see if I can shoot at him some more. Oops, I want that. I want to select that and then click on him. What is happening? Alright. Do that there. Okay, here we go. Just doing circles around him. Alright, oof. Oh no. Oh man, that was close. I noticed if you hit vessels like too long, sometimes the smaller vessel might get sucked under and they just kind of capsize and sink. We don't want that to happen because we're not meant to sink them. Okay, it looks like he's leaving, so that's good. All right, cool. Kind of chased him off. We'll leave him be. Continue on our patrol route to go up to the patrol area. And we'll check on the Russell's group. Ooh, they got... Ooh, crap. They actually have 2 gunboats here. Alright, let's send these guys up to help. Flank. They're going to take a while. It's, yeah, about an hour, hour and 10 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing. We'll leave the formation, and the Russell will go ahead and mess with these boats. Yeah, it'd be cool if we can give them warnings to stay away. Oh, under attack. All right, they're going to shoot at us. Okay, this is not good. Okay, and I want to take these guys to go flank the other way. Flank the other way. Flank the other way. Damn. Yeah, you can see we're already reducing speed because we're just getting peppered with these guns. Let's see if I can shoot at the other guy as well. This is, what you're seeing here is 50 cals because these guys have dual 50s. They just do an incredible amount of damage to this frigate even though it's just a 50 cal gun. I'm hoping that we can affect these boats to the point where they slow down enough. But these... Eventually these guns will be destroyed if we can't get the gunfire to stop. Okay. Alright, let's swap the fire. Get the closer guy now. Seems like a... Oh, they're just firing the 50s now, so maybe... Oh, he's firing. Yeah, they're both firing their 40s. I thought we'd silence those guns, but they were probably just reloading. Yeah, this is where it's kind of not fair, because the patrol boats have those 50s on them, and I'm sure like these bigger boats also had machine gun mounts on them, surely. It's like the U.S. ships all had their... The U.S. ships also had dual 50s on them too. Like some of the guns would be single 50s, some dual 50s, and some 240s. For a while, some of the early Burkes, I think, had... there was a small amount of time where they were using miniguns for some of the scat weapons, but they just proved to be way too costly maintenance-wise. Damn, we are getting lit up. How's this guy doing? He's yeah, he's still up. Yeah, the guns are inoperable. I was telling him to try and open fire, but it's just not going to happen anymore. So, Russell is probably going to get sunk by... See it flashing there in the distance. Gets sunk by some 50 cals, which is quite unfortunate. That's about as fast as these guys are going. This guy, we could just... Doesn't need to be in formation, he just needs to turn around. These guys are not going to be there for a while, so might as well speed it up. Yeah, Blackwood's sinking. Slowly but surely. Look at that. We are sinking, many dead on deck, several fires. The trawlers are also attacked. Last known position north of... Oh boy, alright. Okay. Let's put a marker down, just in case. Oops, don't want that. The good thing is, these guys aren't really moving, so hopefully they'll stay that way and the fishing boats can get away, and then these guys can just race on in and finish the scenario. That just sucks too bad that Blackwood... the Russell was lost there. Yeah, we're still got a ways to go here. Yeah, so we I did VBSS when I was in the Navy, and that's like the boarding thing. And the school for that was just so much fun. But before you did that, you had to do Security Force Basic and Advanced School. And the basic one was like everybody needed to do it anyways. Like to stand watch on the quarterdeck, you had to be basic security qualified. And the big thing about that class was, I think, is like, you know, maybe 2 weeks or something, like 10 days. And everybody has to do it if you're going to stand watch. So the culmination of that, though, is pretty big. It's where you get OC sprayed. And if you haven't seen it, you can look on YouTube and like look up U.S. Navy OC spray, and you'll see the course, because you not only get sprayed with OC, which is like worse than normal pepper spray. It's activated by like your eyes producing tears, and it makes it become more active. So as your eyes produce tears because of this irritant, it makes it more painful for you. It's a terrible, terrible thing. And so you get this sprayed on you, but not only do you just have to endure the pain, but then you also have to go through this course where you have to fight off people and stuff like that. And you're doing that because, you know, in that course they teach you how to like take people down and apprehend them and that kind of stuff. And the idea is that, you know, you can be given OC spray to use on watch. And if you were to subdue somebody and maybe your partner sprayed the OC spray at the suspect, maybe, okay, this is getting, maybe that you get some exposure to it yourself as well. So you had to be able to defend your baton and push people off and stuff while this stuff's on your face. And I always tell people, it for me felt like, if you can imagine a hot skillet that had bacon on it or something, like a hot pan, and just like that grease that's frying there, and it feels like somebody just threw that in your face, and it just burns. And I'll tell you, the first time that I got sprayed, if you had to requal, they wouldn't make you get sprayed again. You basically had to just get it patted on your forehead. So it's like way better than getting it sprayed on your face. And oh, these guys are so dumb. And so we do the whole course, and it's like, okay, now it's time to get sprayed. It's the spray day, and I wanted to go first because I had a class of like 15 people, and I was not interested in just watching 15 people get sprayed and then doing it myself, because I'd just be anxious the whole time. I'd rather just get the pain over with and get it done. So I wanted to go first. This other guy, Cruz, wanted to go first as well. And so I think we played rock, paper, scissors for it and decided, all right, he won, basically. So Cruz goes first, and I'm watching Cruz, and Cruz gets sprayed, and does all the stations with his eyes wide open, normal breathing, completely fine. And his face is covered with OC spray. And it's like, what the heck? And he was one of those rare people that is like not affected by it at all. And in a moment of stupidity, I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, what if it's like not that bad? so like they say OC, and then they just spray you across the face. And then I was like, yep, no, I'm not one of those people. This absolutely sucks. And I could barely keep my eyes open, but you have to force your eyes open, because you gotta be able to see to defend yourself and like fight these people off. And so it sucks. Eventually I get done with it. And with OC, it's not like, I know some people that have been tasered before, and with that it's like immense pain, but it's in the moment, and then your body's kind of freaked out a little bit, but once it calms down, like there's no ill lasting effects. When you get sprayed by OC, it's water activated, so it doesn't magically stop when the scenario's over. Like, you're sweating, it's still on your face, you have to wash it off, and as you're washing it off, you're putting water on your face. And so you get like a momentary relief when you pull your face under like cold water, but the moment you pull it out, it's like super active, and it just freaking hurts. Anyways, at the end of the day, like we're getting back in the van to go back to the ship, because we can't be left alone. People have to watch us so we don't like, blindly stumble into the street or like fall down something and get hurt. So they bring us to the ship to decontaminate, so we all take showers and stuff, and then it's time for us to go home. And I remember Cruz on the drive back, like in the van to go back to the ship. Ooh, search for survivors. The carrier strike group was being diverted to assist you. It's a tragedy. Oh. So it looks like we won the scenario by sinking the 2 patrol boats there, but it was one of those bitter victories, because we now have to go to the Blackwood and go pick up some survivors. So let's go see if we can... Nope, never mind. Yeah, marginal victory. I don't know how I could have really done that much better. I was going to try and do some just warning shots at them, but the moment they went active before I could even do that, so I couldn't slightly disable them beforehand, which would have probably helped me out tremendously. This ship, if it gets hit by like a few 40mm shells, it's going down to like 0 knots, and then you're a sitting duck. Even though you got 340 mil guns, it's just it's not enough to go against those two boats. Plus, if you're in range of their 50 cals, they just turn that boat to Swiss cheese. There, it's pretty nuts. I think it might be a little too overpowered. I don't know. Sinking a frigate with a lot of 50 cals doesn't sound great. Although there's a lot of 40 cals or 40 mils being shot at it, so yeah, it's okay. No, it's a fun little scenario. It's a little bit different than the normal straight up surface versus surface engagements with like warships, just patrol boats and stuff going against each other with guns, which is really neat. And yeah, I wish we got a little bit more depth to, being able to ask ships to halt. And if I had a ship's horn, that would be freaking sweet, because then it would feel so immersive, because it'd be like those videos if you were watching Coast Guard interactions of foreign Navy vessels or foreign fishing vessels interacting with other foreign Coast Guards. It's chaos in the open ocean sometimes, and you just don't really get to see it, but it's out there and it's pretty wild. And so yeah, this is Cod Continuation War, I think, by Banzinou. It's a pretty fun one. It's different, so it's maybe not for everybody, because it's not crazy elaborate combat with high-end ships and missiles and stuff, but I like it. I think it's really neat, and it's got its own little story to it, and it's kind of historical in a way, so I think it's really cool, because I never knew that this sort of conflict existed, and I wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for Banzinou making this sort of mission. So thank you to him, and thank you guys for watching. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!